Good evening and welcome. Tonight, we bring you the latest developments from around the world, starting with a significant diplomatic shift in the Middle East. The United States and Iran are reportedly closing in on a crucial agreement that could temporarily halt hostilities and reopen one of the world's most vital maritime trade routes. We will also take you to Washington, where a security incident outside a White House checkpoint has left a bystander in serious condition. In California, political tensions are rising once again as Governor Gavin Newsom requests emergency federal aid from President Donald Trump while exchanging sharp words online. From the Vatican, Pope Leo XIV has issued an extraordinary, highly detailed warning against the rapid rise of artificial intelligence. And finally, we look to the skies, where China's ambitious space program has successfully launched its latest crewed mission to its orbiting space station. We have a lot of ground to cover tonight, so let's get straight into the details. Our top story today centers on the intense diplomatic efforts between Washington and Tehran. Senior United States officials announced on Sunday that the U.S. and Iran are closing in on a deal that would reopen the strategically crucial Strait of Hormuz. According to these officials, the two nations have developed a memorandum of understanding framework designed to extend the current ceasefire by 60 days. Under this proposed framework, both sides have agreed in principle to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, which is a major shipping lane for global energy supplies. Furthermore, the agreement in principle would commit Iran to disposing of its highly enriched uranium. However, senior officials have stressed that a final deal has not yet been signed, and President Donald Trump has publicly insisted that he will not rush into an agreement. While President Trump is actively hailing this agreement as groundbreaking, he has also acknowledged its incomplete nature, admitting that the deal is not even fully negotiated at this stage. Reports suggest that in order to secure the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz, the Trump administration had to leave the most difficult and contentious issues for a later date. This strategy has already faced severe tests. The fragile nature of the current ceasefire was put on full display on Monday, when a brief effort by the United States to steer trapped vessels through the waterway led to what officials described as the ceasefire's most perilous moment. The emerging plan to bring an end to the conflict has not been met with universal approval at home. President Trump is facing significant criticism from hardline Republicans who are skeptical of the administration's strategy. Critics argue that the administration's war narrative has stalled. Despite promising a swift resolution to the conflict, the president is confronting shifting conditions and a month-long effort that has yet to yield a final signed treaty. The political debate surrounding the administration's handling of Iran has also spilled over into the media. Late-night television, including programs like The Daily Show, has taken aim at the administration's ongoing conflict and its diplomatic maneuvers. Adding to the controversy, President Trump faced domestic backlash after delivering graphic descriptions of Iranian protesters being shot during an event at the White House. Despite these internal political pressures, the administration continues to push forward with the Memorandum of Understanding, hoping the 60-day ceasefire extension will provide the necessary time to finalize a broader agreement. We turn now to a developing security story in the nation's capital. In Washington, a bystander remains in serious but stable condition following a fatal shooting near a security checkpoint outside the White House. According to federal officials, the incident began when an individual approached a White House security checkpoint and began firing at officers. United States Secret Service officers responded to the threat, shooting and killing the suspect at the scene. During the exchange of gunfire, an innocent bystander was struck by the shooting. The wounded bystander was immediately transported to a hospital, where medical officials report that the victim remains in serious but stable condition. The investigation into the shooting, which occurred on May 25th, is ongoing as federal law enforcement agencies work to determine the circumstances surrounding the attack at the secure perimeter. Meanwhile, a domestic political clash is playing out between Sacramento and Washington. California Governor Gavin Newsom has officially submitted a formal request to President Donald Trump, asking for an emergency declaration to support local response efforts in Orange County. The request comes at a time of heightened political friction between the state's executive and the White House. Just as the request was being processed, Governor Newsom posted a series of social media comments that took direct aim at the president. In these posts, Newsom mocked President Trump, referring to him as Dozy Don. This marks another public swipe by the California governor against the president, with the rhetoric intensifying just as the state seeks federal support following the administration's announcement of a limited emergency response effort for the region. The political tension highlights the ongoing friction between California's leadership and the federal government, even as they coordinate on essential emergency response measures. Now, we turn to a profound philosophical and technological warning from the Vatican. Pope Leo XIV has issued a massive 42,300-word encyclical addressing the rapid advancements and inherent dangers of artificial intelligence. In this highly detailed document, the Pope calls for a deliberate slowing down of artificial intelligence development. He explicitly blames the technology for fueling conflicts around the globe and warns of its far-reaching consequences across multiple sectors of human society. The encyclical outlines specific dangers that artificial intelligence poses to education, child safety, the concentration of global power, and the development of advanced weaponry. Pope Leo warns that without proper constraints, these technologies could exacerbate inequality and destabilize global security. Commentators have noted that while Pope Leo sits in one of the oldest seats of power on Earth, his massive encyclical demonstrates that he is far from a Luddite who is simply resistant to technological progress. Instead, the Pope's message is a call for ethical reflection, urging world leaders to prioritize human safety and global stability over unchecked technological acceleration. Finally tonight, we look at the rapid expansion of China's space program. On Sunday night, China successfully launched its Shenzhou 23 spacecraft from the Jiuquan Satellite Launch Center. The spacecraft blasted off carrying 3 astronauts who are now heading to the country's orbiting Tiangong space station. Notably, one of the 3 astronauts on this mission is scheduled to remain aboard the space station for a year-long stay, marking a significant milestone for China's long-duration spaceflight capabilities. This successful launch follows closely on the heels of another major mission. On Friday, China successfully launched the Shenzhou 21 spaceship, which carried the country's youngest astronaut to date, along with a selection of small mammals, to the orbiting outpost. The Tiangong space station is permanently crewed by rotating teams of 3 astronauts, and these consecutive launches underscore China's rapid operational tempo and its commitment to long-term scientific research in low Earth orbit. The crew of the Shenzhou 23 will join the efforts to expand the station's scientific output as China continues to establish itself as a dominant player in space exploration. That wraps up our look at the major stories shaping our world today. From critical diplomatic negotiations in the Middle East to deep ethical debates over artificial intelligence and the continuing exploration of the cosmos, we will keep monitoring these stories as they develop. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. If you found this update informative, please take a moment to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel so you never miss our daily world news reports. Let us know your thoughts on today's stories in the comments section below. Stay safe, stay informed, and we will see you back here tomorrow for another comprehensive look at the news.